Hello all, welcome to my channel. Let's continue with the C# interview series. We have almost covered all the standard operators in LINQ, and today we will be continuing with join operation, and if possible or if time permits we will look into the grouping data concept as well. So if anybody is coming to my channel for the first time, please subscribe and like, and you can go check out my previous videos to get more info on C#. So let me tell you about join now. So a join operation of two data sources is the association of objects in one data source with objects that share a common attribute in another data source. Okay, what does that mean? Let me show you an example. For example, in database there are two different tables. That tables are nothing but data related to two different domain. So here I am we had student related data saved in student table and department related data stored in department table, if you think. So student table has student id, student name, and department to which he belongs. For example, student id is 1 and his name is Jack, and department, here instead of saving all the department details here, what we do is we save the department details entirely in a separate table. Consider this department detail is department id 1 and name is CSC. So here we just save the id, so here we give 1, so that means this person Jack, department id is 1. Okay, here that means this person Jax belongs to the department which has id 1, so that is CSC. The use of it is, for example, if some other student, new student joins, and if he belongs to the same department, we can just give id here. There's no need to give add a redundant data again here, just id would be sufficient. For example, if tomorrow this CSA is getting changed to, I mean, instead of shortcut, if they wanted the entire full form, they wanted it to show this way, then we have to go to each and every student's data and change it at every place. So instead of that, it would be convenient and easy to change it at one place. So this is how the data is organized in the backend. So data is organized this way, and in our API we have to fetch this data and manipulate this data. So for example, for that only, here we use a join operation. So this join operation just clubs this two data and give us the clubbed data. When you club student and department, the output that you get looks something like this. So it will just give the, so here department id of student is matching with department id in department table, right? So it will just club these two rows and give us the clubbed data. So for second students also it is that way only. So this is how join operation works. So join operation just clubs us the data from two different sources based on the common id that is shared by these two tables. So that is about join operation. So let me show you how it works in C# with an example. So now once we come to Visual Studio, here I have created three classes. So one is student, other is teacher, and the other is department. So for now ignore teacher, we will be just looking into student and department. So same thing which example I told you earlier, same relation is maintained here. So student has a first name, last name, and his own id, which year he belongs to, and the list of grades he has. Okay, the list of grades he has, and the department id to which he belongs. So in department class we are saving the department details, so the name of the department and the id of the department and the teacher id. So there will be some HOD or HOD, right, for department. So one teacher among the list of teachers only will be your department HOD. So This is the details. And I have created a sample data also for all these three classes. One is students, the other is department, and the other is teacher. So now let me write a simple join query. So we are just performing a simple inner join. Here syntax is similar. Our query expression starts with from clause local variable in and the list that you wanted to iterate. Okay, the list that you wanted to iterate. And since we are performing join, so this is the first table, and you have to join it with another table, right? That is department. In departments on, so you have to on which condition. I told you there is a common attribute, right? So that is department id equals department dot id, and select student. Let me return department name as well. So as I said, here we can return anonymous types as well, right? We can return whichever form of data we wanted. And as usual, a for each loop. So here I am using string interpolation. So student dot department name student dot okay, it's student dot student. Okay, here student dot student might be a bit confusing. Let me use a different name here. Okay, here I am using item instead of student. So nothing, here we are returning department and student object. So this item will have two properties. One is department name and the other is student. So this student has its student specific features like first name, last name, id and all. So let me run this. So now you will be getting all the so if you see here, the data is clubbed, and proper join operation is performed, and its corresponding department name and the student's first name. Here we can clearly tell that, we can clearly tell, right, Jack Doe belongs to CSA department and so on, this way. So this is about join. So let us perform similar kind of operation in method query also. So how it works is first list dot join and the list that you wanted to join with, and first parameter is the left hand side of equals, like the common id that is there in the two tables that you have to give here. So first is department id and the other is from department table, so it is id. And the last parameter is what all you wanted to, let me take x and y only. It's the just output format that you wanted to send, so I'll be using the same format which we which we got, which we sent in the previous example. So this one only I'll be using. So here it is y, this is x. Okay, now let me print. Okay, let me run it again. Yeah, so we got the same result. If you see, Jackdaw belongs to CSE, and so this is how join works. So right now we have performed a simple inner join, both with query syntax and method syntax also. Now we will be performing composite join. For example, if we wanted to compare two keys, like so now here we have performed join based on only one key, so there is only one common attribute. For example, if we wanted to perform a join operation on two different keys, for example, now we will look into teacher and student. For example, if we wanted to fetch details of students who have a same first name and last name as that of teacher. So if you see here, Jack Doe and John Parker are teachers, as well as Jack Doe and John Parker are students as well. That means they have the same first name and last name. Let me change their IDs as well. Yeah, okay, this is the data of teacher. So now let me use your composite ID. So I am using anonymous type to compare. Okay, here we have to join with the teacher, not departments. Equals let me copy this and then modify. So this is teacher dot first. So teacher dot last, and you can select whichever data you wanted. So I'm returning only teacher. Let us now look into method query, sorry, and here you can print first name and last name. See, if you see, only the matched results are returned. So this is what I was telling, that simple inner join. So only the matched records from the two tables will be returned. So this is about join, and this is also simple inner join only, but here we performed on two keys, that is, this is composite key join. So the inner join, as in only the matched rows will be returned. The other rows in the first table will not be returned. If you see here, Lalit Singh, Arnab Pal, all these are not matching with our case, right? So our condition is both the tables should have common first name and last name. So here only first two rows are matched, the other rows didn't match. So only the matched rows from the first table will be returned. This is a simple inner join, so we can do the same thing using method query also. So here it is teachers. So here it is the same. As I said, this is the condition that you should give. So this is the right hand side condition. So here you can give whatever. Here we are returning only student now, so let me return student only here also. So here it's up to our requirement. You can create any anonymous type and return that anonymous type. Like you can create that anonymous type using these two objects, student data and teacher data that is returned. You can create an anonymous data of that, and then so here let me iterate over method query. See, same data is returned. So it is a simple inner join. So matched data from the left table and the right table will be returned. So if there is any extra data in the left table, that will not be returned. So only the matched data. Even the extra data in the right table also will not be returned. So inner join is only the matched data will be returned. So the first example which we have seen was also inner join only, but here since every data is matched with this department, entire data is returned. Here only two records are matched now, so only two record data is returned. So we have seen a single key comparator and composite key also. I mean, first example is using only single key. So and then here it is composite key, and we can perform multiple joins as well. Here we performed only single join, right? So we can perform multiple joins as well. So let us join all the three tables now. So I'll join department, student dot department id equals and then I am joining it again with teacher. So here it will give us the clubbed data of student, department and teachers as well. So what is the common feature for a teacher and department? So every department has a HOD, right? So we can use that. So here you can select whichever data you wanted. So let me take name of the student, let me combine both the first name and last name, and then name of the teacher. Let me combine teachers first and last, and then department. Here let me fetch only name of the department. So what else needed? Only this, right? And let me print this dot student and department. So if you see Jackdo and it CSE department, and CSE department head is Krishnamurthy. So this is the data that we got using this join operator. So this is multiple joins. So this way you can perform how many number of joins you needed based on the requirement. So till now we have seen a simple single key inner join, composite key inner join, and multiple join also. So let us do this using query syntax or method syntax also, and then we will proceed with the group join. So let me use department here, departments, and here it is department ID. For first join is based on student department ID and department, right? So just and here you can return student and department. So from student you needed only a name, right? Student first name plus student dot last name. And from department you needed department name and teacher ID also, right? So let us fetch both the details. Name equal to, I mean for next join operation you have to use teacher ID also. Dot teacher ID, yes. So again one more join operator you can give, and this time it is teachers comma, it is x dot teacher ID, and the other one is y dot ID, and what all you are supposed to return is here it is x dot student department equal to x dot name, and then next is teacher. For this y dot first plus y dot last. So I hope you are getting without any confusion. So this corresponds to the first, as I told you in the very beginning class itself, this is the second list that you wanted to join with, and this is the left condition that is specific to the first list, and this is the condition specific to the second list. and in the last parameter it is what you wanted to return. So here it takes both the first list object and second list object as input, and here you can manipulate it however you wanted, so you can return whichever data you wanted. So let me run it again. See, same it is with method syntax also. So I hope you understand. So join is this way you can club data of two different tables into a single table and return the data according to your requirement. So it can be done with both query syntax and method syntax. You can use join function or method, and it takes 4 parameters. And if you wanted to perform chain of joins, you can just append it by dot join. Okay, now we are done with joins, and now let us start with the group join. So joined what we have seen in join is, once we join two different tables, the matched data from the two different tables will be returned. So based on a common ID. So we have seen join using a single attribute or a common attribute, and we can do a simple inner join if we wanted to compare multiple attributes also, and we can perform a series of joins. So we have seen these concepts in join, and now we will be looking into the group join. So what is the speciality or what is the functionality of group join? For example, consider department as the first table. So in department table we have this data, ID of that department and name. So here ID is 1 and name is CSE, and the second row is ID is 2 and name is CSE. Oh sorry, ECA. Now consider second table as the student table, and there is student specific data also. So when if you perform group join on these two tables, considering department as the first table and student as the second table, what data you will be getting is, you will be getting a list of list. So basically it will take here common attribute is department ID, no? So it will map it will create two lists. One is for department ID 1 and one is for department ID 2. So it will keep put all the student IDs, I mean it will take a key from the first table and mapped objects from the second table. So here key is 1 and mapped student objects. So now here key is 1, so it will take all the student objects who have department ID as 1. So it will just group all the related objects into list of list. So this is student 1 and student 2 under first list, and student 3 and student 4 under second list. So since there are two department IDs, it creates two lists inside a list, and first list will contain all the student objects that are mapped to the first department ID, and second list contain all the students that are mapped to the student. So this is, as the name suggests only, it will just group all the related data based on a key. So this is what grouping means. So if, let us see in C sharp. So we will be joining as I said, we will be taking department as the first table and student as the second table and join them on department ID itself. And here we will be using one keyword called into, and this is which specifies it as a group join into student group. And let me select student group directly. So now it is list of list, right? So now it is list of list. So if I wanted to iterate over list of list, one for each loop will not be sufficient, so I have to create one more for each loop. So here where item 2 in item, and let us print this item 2's relevant data. So all the student related data will be coming here. So let me print one more line also here. Sorry. So just to specify that it as a group, let me print group here. So here if you see, Jagdo, John Parker and Tamanna Bhatia were under one group, and Lalit Singh, Arnab Pal, Satpal Singh were under one group. MS Dhoni and Virat Kohli were under one group. This is because there are 4 departments, and the people falling under each department is returned as a group. So this is about group join. So here you can return key as well for like as I said, we are looking at, I mean we are returning anonymous types now, so same thing can be done here also. So here you return some key and take that key as department dot id or name whatever you wanted, and student data, I mean all the grouped data which is present in the student group. So here instead of printing group, print the id itself. Here we have to iterate over student. See now, Jack John Parker and Tamanna Bhatia belongs to first group. So this is how group join works. So this is query syntax. So let us see method syntax as well. So group by is a different concept. We will see it in the next class. Group join, and the other one is student. So it's the same concept here. First one is the list that, I mean this first parameter is the list that you wanted to compare, and this is the left hand side parameter, and this is the another parameter, I mean common attribute from first table and common attribute from the second table, and last one is the format of data that you wanted to return. So both the student and department objects will be given as input, and you can return data in the way you want it. So let us return it in the same way that is used in the query syntax. So this is x.id and this is y. Okay, here I think I'm iterating over query only. Let me do it. So I might be missed somewhere iterating it over method syntax. You guys can please try from your end. It will anyways give us the same output. So this is how it works. This is the syntax for group join using method syntax. So it is nothing much. It is same. First parameter is the second list that you wanted to join, and this second parameter is the common attribute in first table, and this is the common attribute in the second table, and last one is the format of the data that you wanted to return. So this is how. Okay, there is one more concept. Once and when we get data from the group join, we can even flatten that data. We can even flatten that data that is returned from the group join. So let me show you that. So here we will take the other way around. Earlier we considered department as the first table and student as the second table. So now we will take student as the first table and department as the second table. So here I will remove some data from students. I will remove data for 3 and 4 departments. So if you see in the first table, I mean here I have taken student as the first table and department as the second table, right? So here if you see 3 and 4 department has no students. So in that case, see here what happens is, it will take, now student is the first table, no, it will take IDs from the student table. So key is from the student table and all the related departments are added in the added as a list. So now if you see here, I will, okay, so now what we are doing here, we are joining student and department on department ID, and we are performing a group join, and we are putting all the department grouped data into department group. And from GJ and department group, there can be cases where, now as I said here, 3 and 4 departments doesn't have data, only no relevant students are there for 3 and 4. So in that case, if there is no data, there is one function called default if empty. So what it does is, it will just add default values in case of empty, like if here if you see these departments doesn't have any data. So in that case, so here it will be, key would be student dot id, and here it would be the department data. As I switched first table and the second table, here it would be department data. You take GJ is not equal to null, then GJ dot name, else just print empty. So as we flattened, now there's no need of 2 for each loops now. Let's query. Sorry, it's item dot key and item dot department. Okay, let me run this. See, it gave me oh sorry, here key I should this, it's not a student ID, sorry, it should be student dot department ID. Yeah, that's what I'm confused. It's 1 2 3 4, right? So if you see here, CSE and ECE is only returned, the other two departments doesn't have data only. So in that case, it will just give null value. Since we have already filtered here, it will just remove that. So to avoid any errors, this is the function that we use here, and the same thing can be performed using method syntax as well. So let me show you here. So instead of departments, we will take students as the first table now, and it is x dot department ID, and this is just ID, and you can return not anonymous, you can just return y dot default if empty, just return, and then from this you can select whichever data you wanted, and from this you can perform So here I am using select many, it will anyway flattens the data. So this is how group join works. So here we have seen what exactly group join does, and once it returns the list of list, you can even flatten the return the list of list using default if empty. So this is about joins and join operator in LINQ, and this is one of the really important topic to be able to work as a .NET developer in first place. LINQ is very important because it is where the operation is visible, right? Like data is saved in the database and the fetched data is manipulated, and this is how it is manipulated. You will just fetch the saved data and perform manipulations using LINQ and then return the data to the front end. So this is how it works. So get good hands-on on LINQ. And thanks for watching. Please support, please like, share and subscribe, and please stay with me. Thanks for watching.